Hi, I'm Jenny from Hobby Art, and today I'm making a wintry card. So this is the winter version of the hare card from British Wildlife. But as you can see, it can just as easily be the summer. So this is the card we're making this afternoon, a winter version of the hare scene. Just put that to one side. As you can see, you can use any size moon that you want. I couldn't make up my mind, so I chose the one in the middle. Okay, so I'm just going to start by getting my press to impress, and I'm putting my hare into place on the card, pulling the press down, and I'm going to just use my VersaFine to just pull that down so that you can see. I'm using my VersaFine to ink up. I use VersaFine because when it's dry it's waterproof and it's perfect for using markers and that sort of thing. Okay, so there's my card done. I'm just going to put my press to one side, and now what I need is a few masks. So I'm going to use Masket sheet. Let me just get this to one side. This is Masket sheet. It's matte one side and it's on a shiny surface. You can pull it up. It's slightly tacky on the back, and you can use it again and again. When I finish with my masks, I actually put them on to the back of the stamp set that they belong to. So the set we're using today is British Wildlife, and as you can see, there's a variety of animals in there. It's just I've chosen the hare today, and there are lots of beautiful samples done by the design team as well as myself on the website. So here's the masket. I've stamped onto this one, but this one I've actually cut out. I also need a mask, so I'm going to put that one straight into place. So pull it off. This is the fiddly bit. You need to make sure it's very tight into the picture, and when I cut it out, I actually cut into the black line so that it's tight on. Can you see I've not got that absolutely into place? It needs to be tight into place because otherwise you're going to get ink where you don't want it. Okay, I will get there in a moment. Fiddly bit. Okay, perfect. So that's in place. If it's off at all, then you're going to get marks where you don't want it. Okay, next I'm going to make my snow line, and all I do here is use a biro and do a wibbly wobbly line and cut round it. So here's one that's been cut, and I've marked which bit is which. So here, if I want to do the sky, I'm going to use that bit, but if I want to do grass, like that one or that one, then I would use that bit. Okay, but we're going to be doing sky at the moment, so I'm just going to peel that off, put that mask into place, and that will also fasten it down for me. And here I've die cut a circle, so I'm just going to put that over as well and make sure that's nice and flat. Next I'm going to be using oxides, so I'm starting with antique linen. Now I could use just a finger dauber if I wanted to, but I actually want quite a strong outline, so I'm just using antique linen with a smoothie and just putting a ring around that. Optional extra. You could miss this bit and just go into the blues if you wanted to. So I'll put that one to one side, and now I'm going to use broken china, and I'm going to pull the colour up so that I don't disturb the mask. I need to be a bit careful around this side because I have got that colour there. So I don't want a hard line, so I'm just going to go over the edge. I don't come down because I could lift that mask, and then I wouldn't have a circle. The same with things like the ears. If I came down, I could lift that mask, and then the ear would underneath would be blue, which is more difficult. So I'm just going to soften those edges. I don't want hard lines there. So that's my second colour, which is Broken China. I'm now going on to a darker colour, which is Faded Jeans. Not quite so much of this, because this is quite a strong colour, but you can see it will blend in quite nicely. They're nice and creamy, and so it just gives a bit of extra depth to my card. There we are, so we'll leave it at that. So put the oxides to one side, give myself a bit more room, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift the moon mask off, so you can see the effect that I've got there. I'm going to use a couple of stamps. These are flowers from the set, and again I'm going to use my VersaFine. So what I want to do is I deliberately want to come into the moon like that, and because the mask is in place, I can put things over the top and I won't get a mess. And whoops, just one or two more there, and a bit there. Okay, now this one doesn't reach to the ground, it's ending in midair. So what I'm going to do is just use a Zig Millennium fine liner and bring that down. I've somehow got a little mark there, not a problem, just another little flower there. Okay, so there we go. I'm just going to take this off, move my mat to one side, and now I'm ready to go on the rest of it. I'm going to take this mask off and just leave that to one side, but now I want to work on the moon. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use another mask, but this is just done from copy paper, and it's got the moon's size cut in it, and I'm going to use Starry Colours, Gansai Tambi Starry Colours, another Kuretake product that I like to use a lot, and you'll see me using it in a lot of videos. Right, so I've got water here and a wet paintbrush, and I did actually put some water on beforehand because it takes a little while to work it in, and I didn't want to waste the time boring you and showing you. But can you see that's quite creamy? Hopefully you can see that. That's how I want it. Once I rinse my brush, that water's going to be a little bit, got mica in it. So anything I colour for the rest of the day using that water will be slightly sparkly, but I actually quite like that. But just change your water if you don't like it. Now, the reason it needs to be creamy and not watery is if it's too watery, it'll leak under your mask, and then you won't get a clear moon-like effect. Okay, so that's perfect. You can see I've got my moon there, and now finally I can remove this mask, and we can carry on with the rest of our card. There we are. And again, masks can be reused. I'll just put them to one side for the moment. Right, so I'm not going to do the colour the whole thing. It takes too long and it's boring to watch me doing berries. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my glitter pens, and I'm going over each bit like so. This is a silver glitter pen. It's quite subtle, so you may not see it on the screen. These are the glitter pens. There's 12 in a pack. So I'm using the silver and I'm using the pink, but the pink actually comes out looking red. And there is a dark pink in there, which is pink. So, but this gives me a nice red berries. I just wanted a bit of extra colour onto the card, and I would do that all the way over. Okay, so the other thing, and the other thing that I would do is I'll colour my hair next. So what I'm going to do is just use 2 colours to begin with, and this is 74 beige, and I'm only doing a small area at a time, and I'm pulling the colour out with number 71. This used to be called Flesh, it's now called Natural Beige. So I'm just moving it. You don't want solid colour, you want a couple of colours on here. So quite quickly I'm just putting the colour in, and while it's still wet, this is watercolour card. Remember, you have got the list at the beginning of products that have been used and the measurements for the card. So not a large area at a time, just by doing a smaller area you're controlling your colours and it stays wet and you can blend. Okay, so we just carry on colouring. Always go quiet when I colour. Concentration. Okay, so do a bit more there and just blend it in, and then you haven't got the hard lines, but you've got the shading, you know, it's not all one colour. I would go in maybe with a 3rd colour, so we'll just use the grey and we'll put a little bit of that where we want it, and again just pour the colour out. Now before I do the last bit, I'm just going to pause for a moment because I'm going to do the embossing, and I just need to adjust the camera so that you can see what I'm doing. So now the noisy bit, I'm going to use Opaque Bright White Ultra High. I just call it Chunky White. You can see it's a chunky embossing powder, it's big granules, and I'm just going to take a pinch and I'm going to sprinkle on this on my card. I'm going to avoid the moon, and I'm going to heat this from underneath. So I would normally stand up to do this, but I'm going to do it from a sitting position, so things may be a bit wobbly. You need to heat from underneath because there's nothing holding the granules in place. So if you do it from on top, they just blow straight off the card. It's a good idea, which I haven't done, to pre-warm your heat gun, and then it'll heat much quicker than this. And you can see that the granules are melting onto the card, and that gives you your nice snow effect. Obviously I'm doing this as a winter one, but it's a lovely stamp set and can be used all year round. I like doing summer stuff as well. It was a chilly day, and I know lots of people are starting their Christmas cards already, so I thought this was a good one to do. Now the more you heat, the flatter the granules are going to be. So this is why I say when you're standing up, you've got a little bit more control, and you can stop when you've got the effect that you want. But there we go, I'm quite happy with that. And one little bit there I've missed, but there we go, one finished card.